All right, got the recording going. We're live on Facebook. Yay for starting a webinar on time without any major glitches so far, knock on wood. I am channeling all my energy today because I am a tiny bit under the weather, but I'm going to do this. We're going to have fun because this is my favorite webinar. This is my favorite topic to talk about. And my team and I actually just love launching books. It's our favorite thing to do, and we do it a lot, so we practice it a lot, and we have lots of great tips to share with you today. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I have a presentation. I am going to go live full screen into that for those of you who are new to me and came in through our amazing Facebook ads that I just have to give props to Ida Butwin for. She is amazing and incredible. And if you're new to us, I'm going to tell you who I am in just a second. Hello to all of my friends who are joining me, who know me, but we're going to get right into it because I have a lot to cover. We're going to go for about an hour in a presentation, and then I will allow plenty of time for questions, and let's get going. Okay, I'm going to put this into present mode, and if you have tell us where you're from in the chat. I'm always glad to know that we have people coming in from all over the place. If you want to share anything, you'll have opportunities to share. I've got some questions to ask you as we get going. And I just want to remind you, and I'll remind you again in a moment, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box, and that way I don't miss them through the chat. Yay, we have somebody all the way from Spain. This is exciting. Maryland, Florida, California, Michigan, all over the US. Stacy, my friend Stacy, and wonderful, wonderful memoir coach, Stacy Aronson, and wonderful editor. If you're in that genre and looking for a wonderful coach and mentor for your memoir, check out Stacy Aronson. Oh, I love you, Stacy. I'm always glad to see you come to these. Okay. And all the rest of you, I'm happy to have you here today too. Let's get into it. First of all, I know many of you know who I am, but just for the people who are new to us, I just want to give you a quick snapshot because I think it's very important. There are so many people talking to you about book launching, about marketing, about book publishing and all of those things. And I think it's very important that you have an understanding of the background of the people who are telling you these things. So I want you to know I am an author. I have done 9 nonfiction books, and I am almost done with my very first fiction book. It's a romance set in Paris in 1999, and I'm so excited to be finishing that up. So now I can say that I do fully understand the world of writing a fiction book. I'm an author coach, I'm a publisher, a book launcher, and host of the Women in Publishing Summit, which is an annual event that actually has training ongoing throughout the entire year, but it is our absolute joy and pleasure to bring resources, people, women in the industry who are killing it, and just sharing those resources with you so that you can learn from them and get better at this author of being at this journey of being an author. My favorite thing to do, though, is to talk marketing and marketing strategy because it is hard. It's hard work, but we're gonna get through this together. A little bit about who we are and what we do as a company. I have a team of 9 incredible women who are working every day to support authors, and we love what we do. We have Write, Publish, Sell, which is a boutique publishing company. Basically, we help self-publishing authors make sure that they are published just like a publisher would do it, or as close to as possible as being a self-published author. We help launch books through that as well. We have the Women in Publishing Summit, which I just told you about, which is our wonderful, wonderful stage to be able to support women who are in this, both as professionals in the industry, but also writers and those who want to be publishing their own books. And we have 3 presses. We have Cat Figgy Press, which is a smaller hybrid press. We have Chrysalis Press, which is our brand new traditional publishing house. We currently have one author, and we are so excited to dip our feet into traditional publishing. And then we have Purple Butterfly Press, which is our children's book house. And I'm going to be featuring some of our authors from those companies, as well as some of our self-published authors today. Okay, so just a little bit of housekeeping. I promise I will give plenty of time for question and answers. I don't think I have anything immediately after this. So if y'all have questions, I mean, within a reasonable amount of time, we will get them answered. Please use the Q&A box. And if you can't stay the entire time, there will be a replay. I do want to be very transparent and tell you that I am going to make an offer to you at the end of it. And I hope that by the time we get to the end of the presentation, you will understand why that offer is important for you. But I do want you to know that this webinar by itself is so chock full of information that even if you could care less about the offer, you are going to get good stuff from this. So I don't want you to think otherwise. Okay. All right, first of all, mindset. Oh my goodness, y'all, mindset is a huge part of marketing yourself and having a successful launch, because it is scary to put yourself out there in front of the world. And I want to tell you a little bit about me that has nothing to do with publishing, but I like this story and I think it's a very good example of how far you can come. Those of you who are in my world right now may not know this, but I am actually shy. I'm actually shy and was terrified of public speaking. I was an intel officer in the Air Force. And when I went through officer training school, we had to do a 3-minute presentation in front of our small group of other officer cadets. So maybe 9 or 10 people in the room. I had to give a 3 to 5 minute presentation. I was terrified. When I got up there, I don't even remember anything that I said. I know that I stayed up the entire night before memorizing my entire presentation because I was so terrified of standing in front of them. And the reason I tell you that is because that was 14 years ago. And through practice, through learning, through becoming an expert at what I was doing, by the end of my time in the Air Force, I briefed the general, the 4-star general in charge of the entire European theater in Europe. So one of the most important people in the military. But I did it. I was brave throughout my process, learning the tools and things to do. And now here I am getting to use those skills that I've learned to help other people learn about publishing. How is this relevant to you? It's because getting out there, you're a public figure as an author, whether you want to be or not. You can be a very quiet public figure, as in most of what you put out can be snippets of your book. They can be images, they can be things. It doesn't have to be you standing on a stage talking, but you do have to learn the skills that it takes to get good at this. And in the beginning, it is scary learning how to market yourself, learning how to approach people to review your book, learning how to approach people to partner with you, learning how to go live on Instagram. These can be super scary things. But with practice and with time, I promise you it gets easier. There is no way that morning, before I briefed my little flight of 10 people, that I could have ever envisioned seeing myself talking willingly in front of strangers and friends on purpose, like willingly. Okay, so be brave, learn these skills and be willing to try them and be willing to know it's okay. So I want to ask a question. What is your most important asset as a writer? And I'm not talking about good writing skills. I'm not talking about having the good book. I'm talking about actually your marketing asset. What is your most important thing as you're putting the book out there? I'm just going to answer this quickly because you might be them. I actually phrased this in kind of a confusing way. So there could be lots of answers to this, but as you are thinking about marketing, your most important asset is readers. Readers, people who want your story, people who want to feel the feels that you're giving them, people who want to learn the things that you're teaching them, people who want to be entertained or laugh or cry or feel seen, people that want to know that they are not alone. The readers are the most important thing in everything that you do when you're thinking about launching and marketing your book. And if you can always keep that at the front of your mind, it becomes a little bit easier, because readers have interests. I've been listening to Brene Brown's Dare to Lead book, and she talks about people being people, and people having interests, and people wanting to be seen and heard and feel like they are part of the process. And this is for us too. If you're thinking about the reason why people want whatever it is you're putting out, whether it's a children's book to teach colors and numbers to a small child, or whether it's a memoir to tell this gut-wrenching story of how you overcame something, or whether it's a sci-fi thriller or a thriller because that your audience just loves that on the edge of their seats. Like, there's a reason that people want that, and those people want to read that book. They also have interests. So one of your biggest things is to always think about who your reader is, what those interests are that they have, and find those interests and be willing to talk about them and share them. So my first book was sadly, a book on grief and loss. We lost an infant daughter, and my whole desire to write a book stemmed from wanting to help other mothers who were going through what I went through at that time frame. My interests were very, very clear. My interests were to provide a place and a space where mothers who had lost a child did not feel alone, and where they knew that they could come together with other women and hear these stories and feel these stories and feel loved and accepted. So it's very easy to identify my reader. It's very easy to identify their interest is just in not feeling alone. Sometimes but for every book, we have a reason for sharing our stories. No matter what that book is about, we have a reason. And the people who want that book have the same reason for wanting the book. So that's where we're starting. But there's a lot of fear and vulnerability. And first, I just want to say thank you for showing up today. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for coming and being a part of this. And thank you for taking this journey, because as an avid reader myself, I don't know what I would do if there weren't good books out there in the world. I read so much, as most of you do, I'm sure. But again, now you are putting yourself out there. You are being very vulnerable with something that is so important to you, and you're taking some risks. But just by being here, you're doing something brave, and you're getting ready to move forward. And if you always just remember, people are people are people, and people matter, and it's all about the readers, it makes everything else in this journey easier as a self-publishing or indie published or small traditionally published author. List of what we're doing. This is something I was taught about in the military. You tell people what you're going to tell them, and then you tell them what you told them you were going to tell them. So that's what we're doing. We're talking about how to launch a book, how to be successful, and I'm going to give you some great case studies. First and foremost, I want you to always believe this statement. Marketing a book is fun. And then believe this statement. Book launches are fun. And they really are. They can be so much fun. They can be very stressful as well, because there's a lot of work that goes into them. Okay. Imagine the possibilities. What is it that you want to get out of your book? And I'm going to ask you this in a second. What is it that you want to get out of your book launch? But, there's so many things that go into writing and publishing a book. There's planning, there's a lot of work, there's consistent efforts in marketing. You have to have the focus on the reader, obviously, and you want to be using best practices. At the very beginning of the whole thing, it stems with good writing. So I want to put this out there to you, that at the core of everything is a well-written, well-edited book. You can employ every single one of these strategies and spend thousands of dollars of marketing, but if your book was not ready to be published, it's going to cause problems. So keep that at the beginning of it. But we're going to assume you all have great books. You're all out there doing the work. You've gotten feedback. You've workshopped it. You've worked with an editor. Now you are ready to go. What do you want to see as you get ready for launching your book? What do you want? Your goal with your book is second behind pleasing the readers or knowing what the readers want, because your action steps that you take are going to vary tremendously depending on the different types of goals that you have for your launch. This is really, we spend an entire month. I'm currently running Women in Public, the WIP school, which is an intense 4-month program. We spend an entire month with the focus on goals. Because if you don't know what you are trying to achieve with your book launch, how are you ever going to get there? I mean, you have to know what you're trying to get to so that you can set objectives and set tasks for yourself to do and set the things that you want to get out of it. So it can be anything. You could want to be a New York Times bestseller. You could want to sell 1,000 books. You could want to sell 10 million books. You could want to just grow your community. You can want to be seen as an expert in your field. You can want anything that you want. You can just want to share your grandmother's story because she was a Holocaust survivor and it's such an incredible story. There's a lot of things that you can want, and they don't all have to be based on sales and money and big results. There's a lot of intrinsic values, that goals that come from this too. When I published Sunshine After the Storm, I had 0 sales goals, 0. I gave the book away and still do give the book away to as many people in print copy as I can, because I did it as a resource and as a way to help myself heal and a way to help other people's heal. So I'd love to see your goals. I see some of you putting your goals in there. I would love it. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie wants to sell 5,000 copies in the first week. That's an incredible goal. And it's a big goal and it's a hard goal, which leads me to my next point. I don't know anything about Jamie. So Jamie might have a list of 100,000 people or a huge following, and that may be an easy goal for her. Maybe she's already done it. So, I can't, that may be the perfect goal for Jamie. And if she's got work to get there, then she needs to set those things. Okay, what does that look like to sell 5,000 books? What do I have to do to have enough people? So it's very important that you set realistic expectations, because book sales, just like anything else, are a numbers game. If you don't have X number of readers, or the ability to get in front of X number of readers, or the money to put behind X number of marketing, then it's hard to sell those numbers of books. Just in case you're wondering, because 5,000 books feels like a very reasonable and attainable goal. And for those who spend a good 9 to 12 to 2 years doing their marketing and building up, or spending a lot of money and effort and time and energy and doing the right things, building relationships, finding readers, a very attainable goal with a lot of the right things to do. But just so that everybody is very, very realistic on expectations, most first-time authors will never sell more than 200 books in the lifetime of that one particular book. If that's the only book they do, there's a lot of caveats behind this. We could have a big discussion about it, but it's a very, without a lot of people following you, sharing about you, getting, creating buzz about you, you can probably reasonably expect, as a first-time author, no other books out there, a smaller email list, a smaller but growing social media, you can probably expect to sell about 200 to 300 books in your launch week and month. Now, it can be done to do a lot more than that. We've seen it done. It takes time, energy, and work. Okay, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself as you are preparing. If you want to write these down, you can. I will include the slides when we send out the replay later, so don't feel like you need to spend a whole bunch of time writing all of this down. But these are the things I want you to consider before you even start trying to develop your book launch and marketing plan. Or thinking about your book launch, I should say, is, do you have a strategy? And a strategy is just a big fancy word for a plan for how you're going to get those 5,000 sales, Jamie. A plan for how you're going to get in front of the amount of people so that you can get there. A plan for how you're going to grow your Instagram so that you can grow your email list so that you can sell more books, all of those. Have you thought about what you need to do to get there? Do you know who you are marketing to? At the very beginning, I asked, what's the most important thing about marketing a book for a writer? The people. So do you know who those people are? Because it's not everybody. And the clearer you can get on the right readers, the easier it becomes. Is your book ready for launch? Everybody, is your book ready for launch? Ready for launch does not mean that you finished writing it last week. You sent it to a copy editor. You got that draft back. You got a cover. You got it designed and you put it on Amazon. There's a lot of buildup that goes into it. Have you gotten feedback on your book? Have you workshopped it? Is it as good as it can be before it goes out to the world? Are you doing the marketing? Are you doing things to build that audience? Are you ready with a good cover, a professionally designed cover, because people do judge a book by its cover, and people can be very judgmental. Is your blurb on Amazon the strongest it can be? Is it keyword rich? Is it ready for people to find it? Have you done the work to find out, to make sure you're positioned correctly? So all of these things. And then have you created the right types of relationships, partnerships, and people that you need to help you get there? Can you do this all by yourself? 100%. It's hard. It's hard, and it's going to take a lot of work and effort, but partnerships and relationships and other people who can work with you to get there can make that easier. So those are the questions that you need to ask as you're thinking forward on how you can implement some of these strategies that I am talking about here. Okay. Your strategy is your roadmap. It's how you're going to get from right now, today, I have 7 people that follow me on Instagram to, by the time I launch my book, I want 1,000. How am I going to do that? What are my goals? My goals are I want 1,000 followers on Instagram, or I want 1,000 email subscribers, or I want 50 reviews on launch day because of advanced readers and their work doing that. What's your time frame? How are you going to make these things happen in that time frame? What tools do you need to use? And what's your budget to do them? Because not everything is for marketing a book is free. I got to be honest, I get a little irritated when people tell you that you can launch a book for free. Can you launch a book for free? 100%. 100%. It can be done if you're not counting your own time and the other things that you do along the way to make it happen. But should you, should you launch it for free if that means no one's going to buy it? I don't know. That's something you have to think about. So this is your big picture overview of the strategy these are the main things that I think about as we're putting together strategies for book launches, being really clear on these things. And of course, who we're trying to market to, which is the next slide. Who's going to, again, I hit this over and over and over and over again, because it's important. It really is important to understand who is buying your book. And if you don't know the answer to that question, you need to spend some time figuring that out so that you can be getting that the book in front of them, talking to them, creating topics of interest for those people. Where are they? How do you get their attention? What are they doing? And what will make them buy the book, share about the book, review the book, and most importantly, recommend the book to the other people, to the other who's in their community that are like them and would also like the book. And the is your book ready part. Do you have a good cover? Is it well edited? We already talked about this. And most importantly, are you willing to make changes? If somebody comes to you and gives you really solid feedback, good feedback that's based on legit things, that isn't just like, I really don't like the colors that you used in your cover. That's a little bit different than someone coming back and saying that image could really be triggering, or that image doesn't look good. Or if I saw that image of that book, I would think it was a fantasy, not a memoir. Those are the types of things you want to seek feedback on. And are you willing to make the changes if you get good, constructive feedback that can help you improve your book? Do you have a team? This team can be reviewers, partners, your cover designer, your graphic designer, all the people supporting you. Who's your team, and are you thinking about them as you're preparing? Okay, so the bottom line here, the best way to have a great launch and to sustain book sales is to get your book into the hands of as many readers and reviewers as possible, because reviews and people talking about your book sells your book. So we're going to talk about some ways to do that. I love this picture. I feel like this is us every launch day. We're sitting there like looking at the stats on Amazon, looking at book sales, looking at where it is in the category. And I feel like this is me and my team every time, taking screenshots. Oh, look, she's number 10. Oh, look, it's number 9. Oh, whoa, we made it to number 1. All these things. It's exciting and it's fun. And we all obsessively do this. So if that's you too, let me know. Okay. I think I accidentally duplicated this slide. We already talked about strategy. So let's go on. Okay. Oh my goodness, I duplicated a couple of slides here, but let's get into the budget. So this is an important thing to talk about because you do need to be considering in advance what you want to set aside to have a good launch. These are just some of the ways that we spend money when we're marketing and launching books, sometimes significantly more than this, I will tell you. But we try to find the places that are going to have the highest return on investment. And those places that we have seen great return on investment is getting between 20 to 50 print copies of the book and getting it into the hands of influencers. Now, I want to talk to you about what an influencer is. An influencer is somebody who has people who listen to what they say and take their recommendations on things. These can be podcasters, these can be book reviewers, these are often bookstagrammers. They can be moms who have a big following, who share about the books that they're reading and have 100, 500, 1,000 moms who love whatever they tell them about books because they have the same types of interests. These can be teachers, many times are teachers, especially for children's books, obviously. These can be anyone who has people who follow them and listen to them and are influenced by them. They do not have to be traditional reviewers, but they can be anyone who, if I go out there and say, I just read this book, it's the best book I have ever read. It reminded me of blah, blah, blah. And if you like that, or if you, are interested in books about yada, yada, you got to get this book. That's me having influence over the people who trust me and trust my recommendations. Okay, hiring a VA to help market can be one of the best investments that you put in because there's lots of little nitty-gritty things that have to be done on a day-to-day basis. A VA is a virtual assistant, by the way. This is an admin assistant. Most of them they're virtual, so they work online, and can help you do things like researching and contacting people to review your book and posting on Instagram and hosting links in review groups and all of those types of things to take so that you can focus on the bigger things or continuing to write or writing your next book or whatever it is that you're doing podcast interviews. They can help you find podcast interviews. Marketing and ad spend, I recommend setting aside at least $1,000 for that. Do you have to? No. There are a lot of things, a lot of marketing things that you can do for much less than that. And a lot of marketing things that you can do just by investing your time. So I find it's going to be either time or money. And the sweet spot is when you have a little bit of both. I skipped over Goodreads giveaway. I did not mean to do that. The Goodreads giveaway have been tremendous to us. We have a whole bunch of stuff on Goodreads that we can talk about at another time. But if you are not currently using Goodreads as a reader, you need to sign up for your free account and you need to start reading, recommending, making friends on Goodreads and talking to other people who love books, because this is the mecca for people who want to talk and share about books, and you need to be there as an author. You may have a live event, spend some money if you decide to have a cake and some food, other things that you're going to have at that party. Are you going to do swag and giveaways? So swag, are you going to send out bookmarks and stickers and fun little things when you send out your books? Have you thought about getting some postcards? So when you, when you send print copies of your book, you have a beautiful little postcard that tells people where to go review your book, how to review it, how to follow you, all of those types of things. And then paid promos and review sites are places that have targeted lists of readers. And you can pay them to put your book in front of those readers, and they can be a great return on investment. Knowledge of the comp titles. I'm not going to get too deep into this because we could talk all day about comp titles, but it is important for you to know and understand what's happening in your genre. Who's doing what types of covers are there? There was a huge shift in the types of covers that were popular in the romance genre over the past 5 to 6 years. We went from seeing, the pirates and swashbuckling and women with, dresses falling off of them to illustrated covers. That's a massive shift. Knowing and understanding what's happening in your genre, what's popular, what's selling, why it's selling, authors that are doing well, and figuring out who your best comp titles are and why they're doing well is important for you. And then you can follow those authors and you can see what they're doing for marketing and how they're positioning themselves, how they're talking about their book, all the things that they're doing to get out there. And of course, it goes without saying that if you're going to have a solid book launch, you have to have an author platform. You have to have followers, point blank, whether that's through your website, whether it's through a social media platform, and you don't have to show up everywhere all the time. You can pick the social media platform that either your readers are hanging out on or that you like best, and go all the way on that. Are you growing your email list? The email list, I will never, until the industry changes, but right now, email still sells things better than so many other things. But growing your email list is important. Are you getting out there where other people are looking for what you're putting out there with your book? Okay. So developing the strategy for a good launch. All this time now, we've been talking about the groundwork, the foundation of things you need to know and be able to do so that you can market your book and that you can launch your book successfully or relaunch your book. I have one case study in here that's a relaunch, and it's hands down is the best-selling book we've had, and it was the second time around. So we'll talk about that. But you got to have timelines, goals, budgets, action steps, and a plan to get there. Okay. And that plan should focus on creating as much buzz as possible. Okay. So buzz just means people talking about your book. Sorry, I'm going through a couple of these slides really quickly because you can read through them later if you want to, but I'm afraid if I start talking about some of these things, we'll be here for 7 hours. So it's just a little more details because it's already 1:30. Okay, let me take a sip of water here before Kai freaks out. Kay freaks out. Sorry, Kay is my water drinking buddy. She reminds me, drink your water. Okay. And my best friend's fiance's name is Kai, and they're spelled the same way. So that's why I did that. Okay. So you don't have to have a completed book. You can market a book before it's ready to go. We do it all the time. You can start marketing before you've even written your book. But you have to have a willingness and a knowledge of what people are looking for and what types of things would be interesting to them. So marketing a book before it's written is really just about growing an audience of people that are interested in your topic. So if your book takes place in Ireland and you have a feeling that people who love Ireland are going to love your book, then talking about Ireland on social media is a way you start doing it and getting people interested in that and trying to grow things around topics that the people in your target age range, age group, target demographics would be interested in. Finding that, engage with that audience, and share that kind of information with them. Then as you start getting more tools to help you with this, a cover, snippets from the book, review quotes, then you can start engaging and adding those in there as well. And then once you have a good solid advanced review copy of your book, your ARC, your book is basically done, ready to go, then you can start putting it on review sites like NetGalley, Book Sirens, getting it in front of other people. You can start using tools like Publish is a company that has a really cool tool for getting snippets out, book bubbles out about your book. And then farther on down, you can start engaging with book clubs. It's fun once you have some advanced copies actually to talk to book clubs about being, the really early adopters of your book and even perhaps getting it before it's even available for sale. But you don't want to just throw spaghetti at the wall and hope that it sticks. All right, so I'm gonna look at the questions. Yes, QR codes on there. I'm gonna look at the questions and see if we have anything related just to these things. And let's see here. Yes, this will be, this is recorded and there will be a replay. Marcy, if you're talking about Stacy, will you connect with Marcy? She's looking for an editor. We have but lots of places to find editors. Depending on your genre, you want to get a good one for your genre. Okay. Okay, these look like things I can address later. So we're going to keep on going because this is the best part. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. All right, the case studies. This is my favorite part because we get to show off some authors who are just doing such great things with their book launches and talk to you about what they are doing that has made them good. Guys, this is one of my favorite fiction books I've read this year. And I don't just say that because Emily's a client. I really enjoyed this book. She is a beautiful writer. She's also a very spirited marketer, and just put herself out there to do all the things. Like when you say, Emily, we'd like you to do X, she does X plus Y plus Z. It was a lot of fun. And we had a lot of fun with this book launch. It just came out in April. She had a very successful build up and time frame. She went through our book launch in a box program last year, learned some stuff, got ready, then came on board with us, and we created a strategy that worked around this. So her book is a women's, it can be classified in a couple places, thriller. It's a story about a woman who has come out of an abusive relationship and surviving it, but it's so much more than that, because then it gets into just like this very fun, thrilling adventure. And she has a beautiful cover. She has a lovely review on there from Chanticleer Reviews on there. So these two things helped her right out the gates. We spent a lot of time on these things, connecting with influencers, finding the right people to talk about her book so that their followers would also want that book, getting the book in the hands of the right readers, focusing on Goodreads, a very aggressive Instagram presence. IG is Instagram if you're not down with the Instagram lingo yet. She created these book boxes where she had for influencers that we went out, we found the best people that we thought could showcase her book on social media. And it had a copy of the book. It had a candle. It had some other fun stuff in there. She had candles done up with the scent to go with her book. We spent some time and money, really, really getting the book out there. Again, I went into a few more details on here. Some of the tools that we used, we started researching the right bookstagrammers, the influencers who were talking about books like this, who were people that would review sites like this. We paid for the right promotions. We put it on NetGalley, which is a review site where people can apply for an account. It's a free account as a reader, but also librarians and retailers use this site, which is huge. And they will look at books, review books, request books, and go post reviews. The thing that I like about, the thing that I really like about NetGalley is that they do have tight, not control, that's the wrong word, but like when you come in to be a NetGalley reviewer, that's expected that you're going to leave a review on Goodreads and you're going to leave a review on Amazon. The reason why Goodreads is so important is because people cannot leave reviews on your book when it's in pre-order on other sites, but they can leave a review on Goodreads. So Goodreads is a great place to start getting that stuff going. And Nancy and I attended Book Expo in 2017, and we listened to a case study on a Goodreads pre-launch that blew our mind. They thousands and thousands of pre-orders based off the activity happening on Goodreads. So it's a great place because, as I said to you earlier, this is the mecca of readers. We had the fun giveaways, the book boxes, but Emily was so, and is still so engaged in this process. She did some fun stuff on her Instagram, some of it prompted by my Instagram manager, who gave her a strategy and told her how to go with it, but she took that and she made it her own, and she did some really fun things. She went live on Facebook, she went live on Instagram, and this might be scary to some of you all. I mean, it may not be the right approach at all. Again, these approaches come down to what you can do, what you feel comfortable doing, and what your readers are going to want. Here's a snapshot of her Instagram feed as of this morning. I just took this morning, so it would be up to date. So it's not all just about a book, and each of these has, a story behind it or something that she's taught. There's a reason why she's posted these. Some have pictures of people reading her book. Some have reviews of her book. Some have, I love this series that she's doing with this. If you love this, then you need this. Showing readers popular books that they like is a great way to figure out if people are a good fit for you. So if you like The Serial Killer's Wife, you're probably going to like The Truth About Unspeakable Things. And she does these periodically. So it's fun. They're nice pictures. And y'all, you can get great stock photos. You can create great templates on Canva, which is a free tool. And she just has, her book is set in New Orleans. So she does a lot of stuff featured around New Orleans, and it's just great. And this is the fun part. She started with 344 followers on Instagram in February. Oh shoot, I forgot to put the number because it's not in here, but I think she's right under a thousand right now, which if you've never tried to grow Instagram, to do that in a period of 3 months is pretty impressive. And the most important part is that she's had 1,715 clicks on her profile link. Why does this matter? Because in your profile, you can use a tool that will help you put links in your bio. Did I put this on here? I did not. So you can have a thing that allows for more links, and you can have a place where people can click on and get your advanced reader copy, or click to buy your book, or click to do this, or click to do that. Because if you're new to Instagram, you may not know that there's no place on Instagram that you can put a clickable link except for one link that they allow you to in your bio. So these tools that we use, and there's a couple of them, maybe Nancy or can put in the comments, because right now I cannot remember. Smart Bio is one of them, but that's not the one we're using right now. But it allows you to have that link click that opens up a page on Instagram that allows you to have all kinds of other links in there. Linktree, all of those. Yes. So very, 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 very important process as you are growing advanced readers, as you're growing your book. We had a great launch with her book. I'm showing a screenshot of Goodreads right now. Let me tell you, Goodreads, they are legit reviewers. So you're not going to see all 5-star reviews, and it's fine. We see 3-star reviews where people say, this was a really good book, I really enjoyed it. And then they give a 3-star, because to them, a 5-star means the book that they will read every day the rest of their life. They love it so much they're going to buy a copy for everybody. So, these things, the reviews can sometimes be a little bit lower on Goodreads, but you have to understand that it's not a bad thing. This is a very good, an average of about 4 stars, super. But she's got 99 ratings, 68 reviews. And this is all happening on Goodreads. Okay. On Amazon, she had over 200 pre-orders, which again, for a first-time author with a small and growing audience, you have to remember those realistic numbers that I talked to you about. To have 5,000 book sales, basically, you have to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people seeing your book. So we were delighted with her over 200 pre-orders. And 55 reviews in her first month on Amazon. Her book has only been launched since April 14th. Then we did a promo campaign, and she had 2,000 free downloads. And I want to talk to you about this because people are like, well, why would I give my book away for free through these promo lists? So promo sites, we have a whole training on promo sites. I'm not going to go into that a whole lot today, except for to say they have curated readers who are interested in your book. You pay for a day for them to email it to those. They click on the book if they want it. They go to Amazon, they download it. You can see right here, right under my goodness, mouse is going crazy. Right under 2,000 downloads on that first day. But this bar graph across the bottom is your Kindle edition normalized page read. This means that people are opening the book that they downloaded and they are reading the book. And guess what? You get paid for those page reads. So last month she earned $73 from those page reads. So as people continue to read that book, she will continue to earn payment for them. So you're not giving away your book for free. And these people that like the book are going to leave reviews. Okay. We're moving on from Emily's book. I could talk a lot about hers because it's fresh in my mind and it was fun. And I highly encourage you to follow her on Instagram. Emily Myers is her account. Strategy Behind Odyssey of Love, which is a book that's launching on June 1st. We are, by the way, still looking for advanced readers for this book. So if travel memoirs are your jam, if reading stories about women in their middle ages who completely leave their world behind and go to Budapest on a tip to basically start their life over, looking for love, looking for the one. Such a great book. If you love classical music, just a wonderful book. But again, same types of things. We're looking to connect with the readers who love those kind of stories, to get those books in the hands of the right readers. We're paying for promotions. We're paying for trade reviews, a very aggressive Instagram strategy. Again, keyed in on those Main themes: travel, music, love. Linda has also lined up speaking engagements because she still lives in Europe. So she's lined up speaking engagements at groups where expats living in Europe are going to get together, because this is another part of her target audience. This is her Instagram account right now. She does a lot of traveling. She posts on travel. People love it. She just got to 800 followers, and she started with 266 in October and a 0% engagement rate. And now she's at a high engagement rate, I think 6 or 7%, which is quite high. And she's at 800 followers as of this morning. 999 clicks on her profile link. That's a lot of people clicking to check out and getting that opportunity to see her book, go to her website, do the things we want to do. Okay, so this, if you're at the point where you're like, I have a book that's not doing as well, I want to relaunch my book, I want to republish my book, is it possible? I want to tell you about Hi, It's Me, I Have ADHD, children's book. She had already launched her book. She had already had close to 1,000 sales, I want to say, on her first book through a large company, and she wasn't happy with the way things were going. So she came over to Purple Butterfly Press. We repackaged her book, relaunched it, and to date, she is our highest selling author out there, and she's selling a lot of books. Is this because of us? I mean, we set her up for success by making sure that the book was done properly, gave her a strategy, got her out there. But I give so much props to Caitlin because she has been working her tail off. She found media spots where she could get out there. It's about a book for kids that have ADHD, but it's also for their parents and caregivers to understand them. We changed the pricing and the formatting. We sent books out to influencers. Caitlin launched a podcast, super aggressive on Instagram. We submitted her to awards, and she won second place in the Purple Dragonfly Book Award. By the way, no excuses on time. She's the mom of 4 kids. So when she relaunched this book, she had a child under 1, and all of her kids were either 9 and under or 8 and under. But she got out there and she did the work. Oops. At lunchtime, we were, having this is what we were talking about earlier, where we love to get the screenshots when it's doing super well and getting out there. Oops, there's overlaid images there, but she's got 124 ratings now. This is on Amazon, 124 reviews. Her book is doing great. She is number 53 in all of children's learning disorders, which is high. She's up there in several categories, doing great. And these are the things that she's done. If you are interested at all in ADHD as an adult or a child, check out her Instagram account, journey_with_, you can read that. So she's got a simple but very focused Instagram. She's got her podcast. She's got all kinds of things happening, and she has built up. We weren't tracking when she started her account, so I don't know how much she's grown it since we launched her book, but I assure you it was not 4,707. She has done so much work, and she's putting herself out there. She's talking to her readers every day. What is it that the people who need this book need to hear? And she's getting in front of them. She's developing things that are appropriate for them, that they want to hear, and she is killing it. This is how you market a book. You think about what your audience needs to hear, and it could be on any topic. She's talking about ADHD, but if you are writing steamy romance, what are the things that your readers want to see, want to hear? They want steam. So how do you create that for them? How do you bring them into your world? That's the world they want to see. You can do this across any genre, across any topic. It's just about thinking about your readers and their interests and what they want to hear, to see, to read, and to do. And it's about putting yourself out there even when it's hard. And that is what Caitlin has done amazing with. We are so proud of her. And she's just doing really, really well. Well, I'm going to fly through the next couple slides because we are running out of time. But Rupert Snowman launched last year another wonderful tool. You'll see this. We repeat the same types of things every time. It's about connecting with influencers. It's about getting the book into the hands of the readers. It's about paying for the promotions that are going to move the ball forward with your appropriate audience. And it's about having fun, and it's about giving yourself time. In almost all of these, you'll see it was a 9 to 12 or longer timeline on marketing, building the audience, and doing the things, because it takes time. Again, same types of things here. And again, you'll have these slides so you can see the details on it. She did awesome. This is a very saturated category. Christmas books, very saturated category. This was her ranking in the UK. She's a British author, so she had a lot of reviews on the UK, Amazon.com UK version. She also is killing it in the US, doing great. Again, hot new releases for Christmas books, one of the toughest categories out there. Highlighting before launch, she already had over 76 ratings. Notice the big red arrow to the left, added by unique users, 1,725. That is because of the Goodreads giveaway. And what that means is that people are putting it on their shelves, which if you're not familiar with Goodreads, you categorize books, want to read, have read, whatever. And when you put something on your shelf, it posts it on your wall, and all of your followers see all of those types of things as well. She had so much fun with this book launch, you guys. And launching a children's book, there are so many opportunities for just having fun. The things that she did and had created to help us do this, I mean, it was just amazing. We partnered with reviewers that do fun things like creating activities around the children's book. One of our reviewers actually featured her book as, look at this, 18.5 thousand followers featured the cover of Philippa's book as their profile picture that day. That was cool. She shared it all over the place and had a goal of having it read by children in as many countries around the world as possible. Ratings. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Just showing some other books that we've put out there, talking about how you can, really use if you do the right thing so that you're getting reviews, you're getting ranking, and then you can take fun screenshots like this. This is our second Lose the Cape book in a series of Lose the Cape books, which are parenting books that we've put out. We had a group of contributors who helped share about it, which helped launch us up into the top ranking up there. So it was fun to be outranking a book by Sally Field. That's super fun. I just throw in some snapshots also on other things that happen when your book is up. And this is on when we did a free day, it got it up to the top in 100 free. So that was the first book. And then we had the second, we ran the promo to the first book. We had the second book coming out there, and it's showing it as a new release. So it came up as a recommended book in that new release. So this kind of like when you have more than one book in a series, how you can use one to propel forward the marketing on the second book. And this one I just like because when we put our book out there, it was just fun being ranked close to next to Michelle Obama's book. That was super exciting. By the way, if you're ever launching a book at the same time as Oprah, Michelle Obama, Brene Brown, anybody you can expect to never hit #1 in that category, that's okay. All right. I mentioned NetGalley before. I wanted to kind of just talk to you a little bit about why we like NetGalley, beyond the fact that you get retailers, you get librarians, you get everyone out there, but they also have the opportunity for people to upvote your book cover. So if you looked right under the cover, there's that thumbs up with the green thumbs up with the 72 people. So if people like your cover, they can give it a thumbs up, and that helps your book show up in other places, which is a good way for your book to get out in front of people as well. Then we also ran a specific promo. So it was a YA promo, and she was featured on the front page of NetGalley. So everybody who's coming in there to see what's up and what's happening in a huge sea of YA fiction, hers was featured right there on the front page. For business books, this is just an example. Pantsless Nation, Jada Willis is one of our clients, and she, our marketing strategy for her was that this book is HR guidance for mastering remote work. She came to us early on in the pandemic and was like, now's the time. I need to write this book. Everybody's managing teams at home, people who are working from home. How can I do this? So she wrote her book. We got a great cover. We got it marketed. We got it out there. And because she was writing on so our marketing tactic here was not a long road. It was not spending 6 to 12 months. It was jump on an opportunity that has been presented to you right now. This is a hot topic. People need this information. They need to know how to manage their teams when their teams are working from home. And her book did very well at launch because it was such a timely topic and needed topic. 2 months from start to finish with her with her book. And I wanted to give an example of Journey Back to Health, again, because she did a Kickstarter campaign. So she was able to market the Kickstarter campaign, which got her a little bit of income to help her with the costs of launch, but it also got her exposure to an additional audience. And then she also was doing blogging. She had a podcast. And at her launch, it was about a year altogether. And then she was able to, her books sat at number 1 and number 2 in new releases on her launch day for print and ebook. Okay, I'm going to go through these. Okay, so here's what I want you to take from this today. And then I'm going to go tell you about the program that we offer. And then I'm going to answer questions. Relationships really do matter. And what I mean by that is people feeling like you are talking to them in a way that they get it, in a way that they want it, whatever your book topic is. So your work is to figure out what it is that people want to hear about and to share that information with them. People engage with images. People love images, and Instagram is so much more fun than Facebook these days. There's just a lot of stuff on Facebook nobody wants to look at anymore, or at least there was for a long while now. It's starting to get back to more videos of kittens and koala bears and whatever else. But images truly do, an image says 1,000 words, right? And it's so true. You can really, really engage people with images and videos. But do it in a way that makes sense for you. Be authentic, because the moment you start trying to be like somebody else, it falls flat. People want to connect with you. They want to connect with the author. They want to know the behind the scenes. They want to know why you're writing. They want to know what it is that happened in your life that made you do X, Y, and Z. What makes you different from the other people talking about this? Some genres are, you have to, this is where you really have to know your reader and your genre, because all of this can vary based on the genre. Again, I go back to the steamy romance, and that's just because, people that really want to read steamy romance, there's a reason they really want to read steamy romance, because they want to read steamy romance. They don't care about why you wrote the book. They care about the hot dude in the book, or the hot women, or whatever it is that they're looking for. That's what that's what they want. So think about that. And that may be totally different from what you're writing. If you're writing children's books, please do not put pictures of steamy people on your Instagram. Do things that are appropriate for your audience. Even though, yes, some of the moms may also be enjoying that type of book, that is not your goal. Your goal is to get them interested in the topic that you are talking about, to market your book. People will do what people they follow tell them to do. So if they like somebody, if they're listening to Brene Brown's podcast and Brene Brown says everybody needs to go buy this book, a large number of people are going to go do it. If they're following a mom blogger and the mom blogger says every parent needs this picture book, a lot of people are going to go get it, or at least try and find it at the library, or recommend it to their school, or whatever. So, that's why finding influencers, finding people who have the audience that you're trying to build, who are already listening to them, are a great tool. You don't have to do it all. So focus on one area, but this is why the timeline is long, because there's lots of different areas to focus on to get it right. And then give yourself the time to implement, to try things, and to make tweaks. We didn't just come out of the gate launching books like this. We launched book after book after book. We learned strategies. We tried new tools. We looked at the results. We look at stats. My goodness, do we look at stats? We track stats. We see, Are we spending the right time, energy, and money? We just changed a huge portion of our launch plan because we realized we were taking an approach that was not giving us the results that we wanted and was taking a lot of time. And this is what you do. You study the market, you study the stats, you study what's happening, you study what works and what doesn't work, and you continue to make changes to improve them. And engagement matters more than follower size. This means on social media, particularly on Instagram, but I would say in most places, it matters far more if you only have 300 followers, that those 300 followers are talking to you and liking your posts and responding to you, than it matters if you have 24,000 followers who never like, do, comment, or anything. Key takeaway: this isn't something that you just get up tomorrow and launch a best-selling book. It takes a plan, it takes time, it takes a willingness to do the work and to take consistent actions. It takes a willingness to be brave and to be vulnerable. And it takes a willingness to, it takes a love of what you're doing and a clear goal at the end that you are trying to get to. Connections and relationships are key, and you just can't do it well without some sort of a strategy. And your strategies and plans, they vary all over the place, but you have to know how you're trying to get where you're going. So lots of examples, and I love helping people get to these results. It is like I'm launching my own book every time I help a client launch their book. So do you also want to know, at least hear about what we have to offer? If you at least want to hear about it, say yes. I'd love to know if you're interested in at least hearing about our book launch in a box program. And yay, I've got some yeses. Okay, good. Okay. So of course we want this. Who doesn't want this? Who doesn't want a #1 new release? Who doesn't want book sales? Who doesn't want excitement? Who doesn't want people to buy the book that they've been working on so hard? Okay, I say this expression a lot: no throwing spaghetti at the wall. Implement best practices. But how do you know what best practices are if you're brand new to the game? Well, you can either spend a lot of time trying to learn them yourself. You can do a lot of research. You can get lost on the internet for days figuring out which one is right. And then you have to figure out, okay, well, this person just told me to do this, and this person just told me to do this, and they're completely opposite. How do I know? You can hire somebody to do it all for you, or you can join us as we go through. It's not easy stuff, but it can be done. This is why we created this container, because we saw many authors struggling with this piece of it: finding readers, getting the book out there, creating a strategy, doing what they need to do. So we created a 1-month program, and I'm not going to lie, it is an intense 1-month program. The good news is if you join us, you get access to the content for as long as you need it. So I always encourage people, show up to the live events, ask your questions, go do the videos and all the other stuff. Do that later. Show up for the live stuff. It's so amazing to get together with a group of people and to go through this and to strategize together and to talk through it together and to form relationships and to help each other out. We start this program in June. We've got weekly lesson modules, which you can do at any time. Yeah, it will help you with some of the stuff if you stay on top of it, but you don't have to. And I talk, I explain, I answer questions all day long. You get weekly Q&A, not just with me, but I'm bringing my whole team. I'm bringing my Instagram strategist, and she's amazing. I'm bringing my Nancy. I'm bringing my Nancy, my work wife. I'm bringing her because she knows just about something about everything. She does she helps us with set up the landing pages, the email sequences, the advanced review team, the launch team, does all of that work. I'm bringing my Sarah, who is my newsletter, my copywriter. She helps me when we have books to ghostwrite. So she's a fantastic writer. She knows how to write newsletters. She knows how to write emails. She is our person on the team who handles all of our book funnel promotions. You get a session with each one of those people to talk about their specific part of the process and ask them questions. You get a book launch Trello board. You get our preferred service providers, which in itself is gold, because we tell you who we have vetted, who we have worked with, and can guarantee can help you in these parts of the process without being someone that you have to be concerned about. You're going to get my course on Goodreads for authors. You're going to get a plan for budgeting for your launch. You're going to get my Just Market It book. You're going to get an email sequence for sending out to your advanced readers. You're going to get our Instagram for Authors course and the special sessions. And I'm going to personally show up every week in the month to be there to answer your questions and to walk through you with the process. So if you wanted to hire us to do your strategy, to do your launch, to do all those things, if you're like, I have no interest in showing up to these types of things, you could do that too, but it starts at $5,000, which for some people is the right answer. Or you can come to Book Launch in a Box in June. You can go through the process with us. You can have access to all the content to review if you can't be there live at every event. If you can't do it, it's okay. You can come back. You can use these resources. We will lay out our strategy for you. We will show you how we do these launches and help you figure out how to do it yourself. Normally the cost is $497 for the month. Right now, we've got it on sale early bird pricing for $397. If you're not ready to buy today, write down this coupon code 100 off BLAB, Book Launch in a Box. But here's the super special offer. And that is because I'm committed to doing this to people at a reasonable rate. And if saving $200 would be a godsend to you to be able to do this, then the first 10 people who do this today can get it for $297. And that's the coupon code is first 10 at this link, which hopefully someone in my community has dropped the link to. Oops. What am I doing here? Okay. So, sorry, I got distracted by that. I ditched the fear is what we are using with DTF. I didn't know if there was a bad, acronym. I'm going to have to look that up now. Christine, that threw me off for a second there. Okay, I will check that out and maybe we should stop using that acronym. If you're watching the replay, I want you to know that we're also going to reserve 5 slots for replay people, because I know it's very frustrating if it's 3 o'clock in the morning your time and you couldn't be here. So you can email us. The first 5 people who email us on the replay will also get a discount. We'll also get this same discount. Sarah is one of our authors. She went through the Book Launch in a Box program. We had so much fun last October when we did this. The authors really bonded. We get together, we do networking sessions, we get to know each other, we help each other out, we follow each other, we share with each other. And I thought this was a really sweet testimonial that she gave us, that we really do try to meet the authors at all levels, at all places, through launching and marketing the book and through all genres. And you get both live and self-paced courses, and we really don't leave anybody behind. It's really important to us to help as everybody through the process. Carol Parker, one of our authors, author of the fish dress. We do work tirelessly. And Lucy said our course was fun and full of great information. And you can tell by her picture that Lucy knows fun. We love Lucy. Okay, so again, this is the link. And I am now going to turn off, take a sip of water. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and start early, give as much time, set yourself up for success. And we would love to help you set yourself up for success story. Oh, Christine, that's quite a different, that's quite a, oh, how embarrassing. Well, okay. Yes. So let me get over to the questions here. Yeah, no, that's not what the book is. We're referring DTF as Ditch the Fear. It's all right. Luckily, we have a good sense of humor. And I don't think most people in our audience probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe they've all been laughing behind our books, behind our backs and our books. All right, let me pull up the Q&A here. Oh my gosh, 208. Okay, why isn't the Q&A? Oh, it's hiding on the other screen. Let's see. Okay, let me I've been told, okay, so Jessica, I can't really answer this questions about hate spammers. I've been told once hate spammers start on Goodreads. I don't once hate, oh, sorry. I've been told once hate spammers start on Goodreads, you should just take the book down. I was wondering if people can tell the difference and if it's fine to weather that. So that's a question I would ask the librarians on Goodreads, because I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry, hold on one second. I need to look back at the slides because I was just asked a question on the coupon code and I didn't write it down. The coupon code for the first 10 is first 10, FIRSTTEN. Let me try and copy that really quickly. It should be first 10. Hopefully that is working. Here, I'm dropping it in my team chat and y'all have that now. Okay, back to the Q&A. Okay. I have a fairly robust personal Facebook account with followers, but since I launched my author page on Facebook, it's quite limp in comparison. Should I continue to post on both pages? Okay. So Facebook, oh my goodness, is the algorithms change, things change, what people see or don't see changes all the time. I'll be honest with you. We use our Facebook pages primarily for 2 reasons, and that is to run ads. If you're working with an ads person, to run ads, and we use our Facebook pages for putting content out there, sharing content that allows people to, to see that we're still engaged and active, sharing about our different things happening and the events page. And then another big benefit to me for my business pages is the connection to the groups, because you can connect your group. So if you're running a reader group, it's a great place to be able to have that place for people to find that. My first book is a prequel to a trilogy that I'm using as a reader magnet. Can you address how to market a reader magnet? You would market a reader magnet just like anything else that you were trying to market. So you can use it in the links in your bio to say, download my free book. You can run it on BookFunnel and promos. You can have it on your website connected. Have it, obviously, if it's a reader magnet, it should be on your website where people can go to your website, put in their email address and get it. BookFunnel is a super tool for participating in promos to grow your email list through reader magnets. Many of them will allow, because it's your first whole book, you can share it on social. You can go on, if you're ever going on a podcast or going out and talking in front of people, you can direct people back to that and let them know that you have a free book for them to try out. You can put it on perma-free sites. There's all kinds of ways to do that. For memoir and nonfiction, how is it different than marketing fiction? Okay, that's a great question. So memoir is often marketed very similarly to fiction because it's a story first and foremost. Many of the best memoirs read like a fiction book. But again, with anything that you're marketing, you are trying to figure out what it is that your reader wants to know about and then providing them information about that. So let me give you an example of a great nonfiction book. If you attended the summit, let me get a sip of water here. One of our favorite guests is Rashonda Pratt. She is a nonfiction author. She has written CEO of Live Visibility. So CEO of Live. So basically teaching people how to use live video to grow their businesses and to market themselves. And then she's written a book called Visibility is Power. So her whole platform is teaching people how to get out there in front of the camera, get out there in front of their audiences and grow their businesses, grow their communities through using live video. So what she has done is that she'll do snippets of her book from time to time on pieces, and she'll be like, we're talking about this. So if you want to learn how to do X, Y, and Z, and give a little snippet and be like, oh, by the way, that's completely covered in chapter 7 of my book. She's also done live book clubs where each week they read a chapter of her book or they read parts of it or whatever. And then she says, get the rest of this in my book here. So there's lots of creative ways that you can market a nonfiction book. If you're a health coach, you should be out there talking about health, talking about the fitness stuff that you're doing. If you're a meditation coach and you've written a book on meditation, then you should be showing up in the places where people who are looking for meditation are going. So maybe you're doing short meditations on YouTube, and in the link of your YouTube videos, you're putting, get my whole book on how to learn how to meditate here. So you have to think about what your reader wants to learn about and how you're providing that to them. And where that reader is at. So again, it always comes back to, what does your reader want? What are their interests, and how do you get in front of them? And that was a question from Facebook. What can I do to increase my email list? Well, you've got to be giving them something that they want to get on your email list. So you're a children's book author, Philippa, maybe a new activity, maybe a new coloring sheet, maybe you're writing your second book. So we're going to be going back into ARC copies of your next book. Maybe you have to think about, but you've created so many fun activities on your Instagram account for people. Maybe you create a little ebook of all your activities that you're doing on Instagram. You have to give your audience something that is relevant to your book, relevant to what you're trying to sell to them. So whether it's a course, a product, a book, what you want your download, you want to bring them into your email list for something that is representative of what you're going to be trying to sell them. Because the last thing you want to do is give them a book of recipes when you don't talk about recipes. You sell a children's book, right? So you don't want to give them your 5 favorite recipes unless it's very related to what you are doing to sell your book or your course or whatever it is. So with reader magnets, with lead magnets, which just is a fancy term for getting people to give you their email address, you want it to be relevant to what you're doing. So if you write on vampires, maybe give them a vampire short story. If you write on grief and loss, maybe you give them a checklist of things that they can give to their family to help them. So, you just have to spend some time thinking outside the box. Okay, how many influencers do you suggest sending to? So influencers, we try to get between 15 to 20 significant influencers, but that's talking about people with huge audiences, people with hopefully some return on that investment. Some of them charge a fee for doing them, some of them don't. So if hang on one second, I need to respond to something super quickly to my team because I got a question here. Sorry, y'all. I just wanted to answer that quickly. But you can have lots of micro influencers that you're giving the ebook to, or, finding other ways to partner with them and all that kind of stuff. So, really, when it comes to launching your first book, or when it comes to having a really big launch, you have to think about things like, what's more important to you? Is it more important to you that you have 20 to 30 to 40 people talking about your book on Instagram and showing pictures of it, or showing, a video of it? Like, those are the people you want print copies on, but you can give the ebook away to the PDF to as many people as you want to. Okay, question from Facebook. Can you go back and get readers on Goodreads if your book was launched in February? Absolutely. Absolutely. Goodreads is available anytime. You can run a giveaway on Goodreads at any time. You can have people are reviewing books that were written in, the 1800s. If your book, anybody can add a book to Goodreads, by the way. So, so you have that out there as well. But yes, it's never too late to do Goodreads. What is the ideal length of an editorial review? They vary. I don't do editorial reviews, so I can't really answer that question, but we just got an editorial review from Chanticleer that was an entire page long, which was awesome. But some of them are shorter. Some people just give you a blurb. You know, if you look at a best-selling book, a big name, think of somebody big, James Patterson, my favorite author. On the back of his book, the blurbs will be super short, like, you know, gripping novel, or, you know, on the edge of our seat or something like that. So it's just going to depend on who the outlet is and what they're doing. Some people give long reviews, some people don't. And if you do get a long review, then you just pull some key blurbs from it. Advanced copies are provided in what format and way? So we provide them, and when we put them on NetGalley, they get the EPUB or the Kindle version or the PDF. I think they can get all three of those, or it might just be EPUB or Kindle. Through BookFunnel, you can do PDF, EPUB, Kindle. You can send out print copies if you wanted to. It's really up to you and up to the site that you're using. Some of them have requirements. Book Sirens, I believe they require a MOBI file and an EPUB. Some of them just require an EPUB. Lots of different answers to that. If you publish fiction with a traditional publisher, how would that affect the timeline and the way you promote and market your book? Your publisher would be guiding most of that. Some publishers don't do a whole lot of action on it, but they would generally have a guideline of timelines and when things are going to happen for you. So hopefully your traditional publisher should at least set out some type of timeline and give you some support in that area. Bigger houses, medium to larger houses are going to do a lot more of that. Lose the cape. Michael wanted to know what lose the cape refers to. Lose the cape, actually, I'll show you my book because I have it here. Realities from Busy Modern Moms and Strategies to Survive. This was my first co-written book that I did. It was my second book that I wrote and published, and it became a series. And we now have 4 books in the series that are for moms, all about parenting and fun stuff. How do I connect with you to see about relaunching a children's book? You can email us at info@writepublishsell.co. There's no M on the end of it. And we're happy to talk to you about that if you're looking for one-on-one consultations. Oh, Nancy already dropped it. I don't know what Rainey was excited about, but we got a big yes there. A Trello board. Trello is a really fun project management tool. It's like it allows you to pin cards and organize things in a way. So with our book launch Trello boards, it's basically got lists of things that you can do, images, checklists, fun things like that. I think the code got dropped again. But Nancy, if you could drop the code one more time. I don't know if we have any spots left or not. Hopefully for you. Let's see. Have you ever helped authors launch Spanish books? I'm trying to speak. Yes, actually, we have done translations of 2 children's books into Spanish. And we have basically what we did with them. If you'll bear with me, I could show you one quickly, maybe. Yes. Okay, I've got show and tell. So this is the original children's book, Princess Monroe and Her Happily Ever After. And then we just had it, we kept it all the same basically, but it's completely translated. Obviously the description is in Spanish, interior in Spanish, and they also rewrote the sales page copy for us in Spanish. So basically the process is finding a translator, and then our cover designer just redid the covers with the Spanish in there. Okay. Whew. Is this program to do as you go, ideally, meaning your book is done, or are the steps from beginning to relate to your readers? Okay, so we start at the very beginning of the process with helping you through Book Launch in a Box. We talk about the foundation and what you need to do to get out there and get going. So you can already be established, and this will help you improve what you're doing, see the things that you need to do, but it's very focused on. So this is a great question, actually. So we do a 1 week that's focused solely on Instagram. We do 1 week that's focused solely on advanced readers, finding reviewers, and that whole part of the process, making sure you have a good landing page, a good reader magnet, all of those types of things. We do 1 week focused solely on promo tools. So we'll be talking about book funnel, we'll be talking about promo sites, we'll be talking about those things, when you would use them, how you use them. And then the 4th week is, I forgot. The 4th week is another, oh my gosh, I forgot what we do in the 4th week, but with each week has a very specific focus on the things, the key things that you need to be doing to market and launch your book. So each week has a very specific topic. We go through and we do those week after week. And then of course you'll have access to the content later on to come back to and to implement as you need. Any suggestions on launch event for book published on Kindle? Elsa, actually, I just did a podcast on this yesterday, just released it. It's Publisher Podcast. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. If someone can, okay, Nancy's grabbing the link. So we just talked about published book launches. If you have 2 different books you want to market, in my case, a children's book and adult book memoir, do you try to market them both at the same time, both in the same year, or market one at a time? So this really depends, Leslie, on how much you're trying to do versus how much you have other people doing for you. It's very possible to market to, but it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard work. It's hard work to market one book, to do 2 in completely different genres. If they were both children's books or both memoir or both of the same genre, I would say go for it. But if you're trying to launch 2 books in completely different facets at the same time, you would have to go back to the question on your goals. Is your goal just to get the book published, to get it out there, to have it as part of what's, to have it out there so that you can do a long-term marketing post-launch strategy? Or is your goal to really make a splash, to really make a difference with your book, to really, really have the time and effort to do it? Because both of those are so different, and you're going to be implementing such different strategies. It would be incredibly exhausting to take that on, to do both for a big launch for both. Yes, Rainey, if you're in WIP school, please do not go buy Book Launch in a Box. It's already included as part of your program. And if you provide advanced copies on EPUB or Kindle, then haven't you launched? No. So you can provide copies of it without publishing it on Amazon. A MOBI file is the file that's used by Kindle, but you can have those files and put them into advanced reader things. Though the publishing part is your big day that it goes live on sales sites. So you can have those books out there on review sites, be sending them out to reviewers, be emailing them to people. That does not mean your book is launched because you're not selling it yet. That's the end of the questions. Woo! And we made it. It's 2:26. I even made it before the 90-minute point. That's amazing. Okay. I'm looking for a translator in French and Spanish. We actually do know some that are French and Spanish. They are in Spain and France. But we might, I don't know of anyone in Canada, but I do know Lucy, actually one of the ladies who gave us the testimonial for Book Launch in a Box from last time. She's bilingual. So and in Canada, she might have some answers. Send us an email and we'll be happy to make that connection there. So thanks, y'all. This was a lot of fun. I hope you learned a lot today. And I hope that we will see you in Book Launch in a Box next month, because it is a fun program. We really enjoy doing it. We had a great time last year and are going to have a lot of fun this year too. And we will be sending out the replay and the slides and all of the information later on. So have a wonderful day. My social media links, you can find us Write Publish Sell at Write Publish Sell. On Instagram, you can also find us. I'm at Alexa Bigwharf is my personal one. Here's at Write Publish Sell, at Women in Publishing Summit. On pretty much anywhere. If you look up Write Publish Sell or Women in Publishing Summit, pretty much anywhere you will find us. And then I have my own personal profiles as well. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and go start thinking about your goals and go start thinking about how you're going to achieve those goals so that you can have a massive, massive, wonderful launch based on whatever those goals are, and give yourself time. And that is my final advice to you. Thanks, y'all.